Okay, I'm done. Okay, I'm done. Don't fight me. I felt somebody bop me upside the head. Like, girl, you playing around, and I'm not playing with you. I'm from an era where we don't play those kind of games. Hello, hello, hello. I just had to get some things prepped up, girl. Ciao, honey. Girl, have you been sleeping? Well, let me tap you on your shoulder with a lovingly tap and say, sister, it's time to wake some shit up. Sister, it's time to wake some shit up. I'm already cursing. I'm already cursing. Now, listen, I know it's been a minute since you and I have talked. If you're watching this in the future, this is a live video. So, shout out. It is giving auntie. I decided to give you girl a 70s fish. I decided to pump through, honey, and give you Let's Groove Tonight. Because I just feel an auntie read in my spirit. But I'll always when I finally do ascend into auntie unctie status, I will always be the cool auntie. I will always be the cool auntie. But you know what the going on. Thank you. The shirt is very groovy, isn't it? What is the purpose? There is no purpose of this vibe, this feel. But anyway, hey y'all. Let me do my intro and things, and then because we have much to discuss, right? Hey auntie is taking me out. Please. Anyway. Yes, I've been gone for a while. So if you're watching this in the future, this is a live video, as you could tell from the comments that are popping up. But never fear, to the present watchers and future watchers, I keep my ear to the screens, honey. I absolutely do keep my ear to the streets. And my Spotify streams ain't gonna lie. I'm really streaming this music. Girl, I've been really into this male beef. Y'all know the last time we did an HGHO homegirl hangout, it was to discuss these men catfighting. And never did I ever think that this beef would take the cake for me. Like, it's definitely doing the things. And there's much to discuss from, like I alluded to, or maybe you could feel the implied messages from an artistic and fun space. This has been gag worthy. These men have been producing things that are gag worthy, but I also have to say that there's a lot of things that I want to do today, and gag is certainly one of them. But among those things is have a serious discussion about the misogynoir and the selective activism, and how everybody overnight becomes an intersectional feminist who just gets all the things, and it's just my responsibility to advocate for women. Oh, really? Oh, really? I find that a bit funny. I find that a bit suspicious. So, like I said, there is a part of this conversation in which both parties disappoint me. And you know me well enough to know I never have an issue discussing the things that disappoint me, right? So I'm really excited to get into this conversation in a nuanced way. If you're the kind of girl who does not allow yourself to hold multiple opinions at once, this is not the space for you. And that's fine. If you don't have that capacity and you don't make space for other girls to have that capacity, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Is my afro even? Somebody in the comments let me know if my afro was even, because it's always uneven in these lives. And I hate that later on in the future. But yeah, I think that there's space here for a really fun and interesting conversation. Thank you. Very even. Love that for you. Well, actually, I love that for me, but thank y'all. Anyway. So yeah, this is going to be one half of the HGHO. I was supposed to prepare everything that I wanted to talk about for the second half. That's going to be on Patreon, which is going to be about the Mess Gala. Ooh. The Mess Gala. Girl, I told you guys I have an affinity for style, not necessarily fashion, but I have been doing my fashion research because I surround myself by girls who do that work. As you can tell, clearly I'm a fashionista, girl. Clearly I'm a fashionista, honey. No, but we do have to discuss it. Seriously, Coco Jones just dropped a new single, and to me, she does really interesting things, and I'm excited because she's a part of my generation. I'm not giving my generation right now with this look, but she is certainly a part of my generation in the future of R&B, and so that makes me excited. Now, among other things that we're going to discuss over there, but I just got to get some of those assets. So it'll be a break. We'll take an intermission, and we'll do the second half of Patreon. Now, let's wake some things up. And if you feel compelled at any point throughout this show, because this video will likely be demonetized, you can definitely, donate where you see the Cash App link on the screen. That would really make my heart warm. Or you can send a super chat, and obviously super chats take priority or precedence when I'm looking through comments, right? Now, it really has been, in my humble opinion, it's been Drake versus the world. It has been. It's been Drake versus the world, and for good reason. I always make space for a good Drake dragging. I'm sorry. It just aligns really well in my shadow. It aligns really well in my spirit. My ancestors are so proud when someone begins to yank BBL Trizzy by his lace front, right? So I'm always here for it. But those fights or those rap beefs really were silly rap beefs that cut these men more checks, right? The substance of what we were all waiting for was really the Super Bowl of this rap beef was between Drake, aka Aubriana, aka BBL Drizzy. Listen, which is so funny. Which is so funny because Drake does not have an ass. Girl, Drake's ass, hold on. Let me give y'all a representation of Drake. It's very much, this is Drake's ass from the side. Sister gives us many things. She gives us many things. Ass is not one of them. So the BBL allegations always crack me up because why BBL Drizzy? Y'all play too much. I'm aggravated. But yes, we have been looking forward to Drake or Aubriana versus Kendrick, aka Kung Fu Kenny. And that name is most befitting because Kendrick has been windmilling the way only Jackie Chan can. Bruce Lee, Jet Li, Taekwondo, nigga. This man has been giving me Taekwondo the way he has been windmilling. Girl. And I mean, it's give whop, 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 whop. His whole head will be fucking off. And the first thing my daughter told me is, you better not use no martial arts on nobody. It's very much giving, you better not use no martial arts. And Kendrick is definitely using martial arts. I hope y'all understand that Tokyo Tony reference because that is one of my favorite videos on the internet. Anyway, yeah. However, from an artistic perspective, like I alluded to earlier, the girls were fighting and fighting valiantly. But there can only be one winner. There can only be one king of hip hop. Ladies and gentlemen, I hold one card in my hand. One card in my hand. And on that card is the name of the king of hip hop, the winner of this rap battle. Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! Oh yes! Now, how did she get in it? Let me tell you. Listen, there's logic behind this. I promise you. Neither one of you, neither Drake nor Kendrick, are the winner. Both of you are up for elimination. Now, Kung Fu Kitty and Aubriana, prior to tonight, you were asked to prepare a lip sync to Hiss by Megan Thee Stallion. Drake, obviously, you can perform body for obvious reasons. BBL Drizzy, you can obviously perform body for obvious reasons. Now, ladies, this is your last chance to impress me and save yourself from elimination. No, I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. No, I can't give either of them. Oh, okay. If I'm going to give someone the win, I have ears, eyes, and all 5 senses, and they all work. So if I had to toss someone the win, it is unequivocally Kendrick Lamar. And we can run into all of the things for why it is what it is from a rap battle standpoint. But, the reason why I can't give it to them and I must give it to the king of hip hop, I must go ahead and give it to the king of hip hop, is because of the performance of utilizing Black women's trauma as a gotcha moment. And before I got in here, I seen people saying like, why would you guys say that they're using this as a gotcha moment? And it's like, Well, they sat on the alleged trauma and SA of some of the most victimized demographic in this country. Black women and indigenous women, of course. But for the context of this video, Black women, they sat on that for the purpose of a rap beef. Now, I'm gonna take a little detour and say, listen, yes, Kendrick, you are the winner. I have been screaming around the house. Everybody say, "Oh, ho!" Yes, and girl, BBL Drizzy, I need it on my speaker. There's not a speaker loud enough that can play BBL Drizzy. Girl, about. And you know, it was funny. It was funny. I've got to be honest. I have a funny bone just like you. And it did make me laugh. But like I said, the weaponization of these women's alleged trauma is not the tea. It's late, sister. It's very, very tired. And the reduction of these incredible, like, it just desensitizes folks to what's really happening. It's like, oh, gag, she gathered her, right? This is not public. This is not something that should exist as just public fodder, right? This is not a fickle situation or like a frivolous topic here. We're talking about, there are allegations of abuse, of PDF Ophelia. What are we doing here? Let me see what y'all talking about. Oh, girl, clock that T. Clock that T. And but all of a sudden, now it's all of a sudden. Now all of a sudden you have I'm here, what I miss. Girl, rewind it, sister. No, don't rewind it. Stay with us live. What should it be like? So here's what I also want to say, right? I think that I'm disappointed in the both of them. Disappointed is one word to use. I think disgusted is another word to use. But particularly Kendrick Lamar, who has attempted throughout his career to paint himself with this politically progressive or socially progressive, at the very least, this veneer of social progressivism. I'd like to know how he balances that with this particular weaponization of innocent folks' trauma. How do you balance that? Like, how do you reconcile that, sister? I'm literally asking you, Kendrick, if you're watching, Kung Fu Getty, do not karate chop me in the throat and kick me in the solar plex. It is a simple question that requires a simple answer. I'm genuinely curious. Now, I'm not saying snitch, Kendrick Lamar. I'm not saying you should have snitched. I'm saying call the police, don't call me. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying call the police, don't call me. Because, like, instead of calling an authority figure that can actually bring justice to the people to an alleged awful situation, right? You posit yourself to be a man of the people. All people, right? That includes the women's. So I would think that your ethic compels you to call the authorities, not us. Why are we in it? Where is the logic in that? Releasing this information via a diss track. Where is the justice in that? Where is the pro-Black woman ethic in that? That doesn't compute. And it doesn't compute because it literally does not make sense. You can't be, all these things can't exist in the same breath. You can't be a gangster who's anti-snitch, right? Hard body gangster. Anybody can get it. You are positioning yourself as someone who's not afraid to, now that could be poetic speak, but I'm taking you on your word, sister. You made it very clear over and over again throughout your career. You're not afraid to. So you can't be a gangster who is anti-snitch. And by the way, I think being anti-snitch is problematic. I think that's problematic, but at the very least, it's consistent. Do you understand? It's consistent. You can't be that in one breath and then also position yourself as a whistleblower, right? You're a whistleblower for these alleged young girl victims and the victimization that they experienced by the hands of the very, very famous, very, very rich, and very, very influential and powerful Drake, right? I just don't know if both of those things can exist. And here's why I say that. Because when people whistleblow and they go to the public as their, I guess, mechanism or vehicle to get that information out there, it's usually because they don't feel that they have the institutional power to be believed, right? They don't have the gravitas, the complexion for the connection, the wealth and resources to be believed, right? But I just can imagine a 5'2", excuse me, let me watch my 5'2" mouth, a 5'3" Kendrick walking into the precinct, right? Just marching in, tiptoeing in, pitter-pattering in, skipping in, with all of the evidence that you clearly have deep in a vault, because, bitch, it's giving evil, it's giving supervillain. The way that you've prepped and primed the girls to release this, it's giving supervillain. I can just imagine you going into this precinct and dropping this on the police's desk and certainly being believed. One of the biggest artists in the world, 7-time Grammy award-winning artist, comes in and say, comes in and says, I have the drop on Drake. Here's who he's doing, when he's doing, and how he's doing it, and why this is all illegal. Here you go. I imagine they'd look into that. I imagine that they'd look into that. You understand what I'm saying? I had something else I wanted to say on this, but we did get a super chat, so I want to go ahead and acknowledge the Closet Archive. Okay, and you say, Kenny was threatening to take off his music off of Spotify for R. Kelly. That was his tea. That was his tea. Yes. Kung Fu Kenny was alleged, you were saying, threatening to take his music off of Spotify for R. Kelly. He doesn't take it further with actually addressing and helping out Black women. Hotep antics. And see, here we are. And so we've arrived at the infamous word of Hotep, which has always been what Kendrick Lamar has given me. It's always given me a pro-Black man ethic, right? Or even a pro-Black masculine ethic, because in the Miles Morales, not Spider-Man, bitch. In the Mr. Morales album, I did see that, he was talking about his LGBT, his lesbian aunt, who I imagine is a stud. I don't know this to be true, but I imagine that just because of my personal, this is anecdotal, my experience and the experience of many of my other queer friends, where straight men get along very well with studs. Very well. Homeboys. Caboodles. Right? And they make space for that. And so that's why I say there may even be a pro Black masculine ethic, but that Black stud is still a Black woman at the end of the day. So the same way folk can be blind, it's just about being open to all forms of discrimination. And I think that his politic has always lacked. But that's neither here nor there. Let me see. There was something else that I wanted to say. About Kendrick Lamar and why I just don't trust him. Let me have a sip. 1 second. I'm actually sipping some white wine today. Y'all know I'm usually an organic red wine girl, but I've been having fun. It's spring, and I'm feeling white. Now, bitch, look at me. Look at my sister looking at me like, bitch, you feeling what? You feeling what? Not Caucasian. Not Caucasian. I'm feeling white wine. Damn. Girl, I felt the spirit rumble. Y'all felt the earthquake? Ancestral magic. Oh. Anyway, what I wanted to say is usually, I think another reason why folks go to the public with information is I could understand if Kendrick Lamar felt unsafe sharing this information, and that's why he sat on it all this time. But you clearly don't have your willingness to put this information out suggests to me that you don't feel unsafe. It wasn't a matter of safety, babe. Right? You put this information out, diss tracks all across, what did Daddy say? YouTube land, Twitter land, Instagram land, Snapchat land, and various DSPs. You put this all out, which would suggest to me, us, the people, you are unafraid. to release this information. You, just like an evil genius, were waiting for the right time to release this information. And, Lotto definitely said, get in the booth, bitch. I'm saying, get out the booth. Get out the booth, bitch. It's just very much... Okay, so Chan is saying the girls are correcting the original statement about R. Kelly. So here we have Chan saying, not exactly. He was taking his songs off of Spotify because they were specifically targeting Black people with the removal of R. Kelly. Ooh, hold on, let me go up. With the removal of R. Kelly and XXXTentacion from Spotify and leaving predatory white artists. Let me look into that. That's not something that I'm hesitant to believe. I think that when organizations are looking to do the right thing, they attack the most vulnerable first. But I also think that, a predator is a predator. So I would have, like, for example, if I'm Kung Fu Kenny, I'm advocating for other artists to come off as well. I'm making that loud as well. I'm not necessarily taking my music off in protest, and even just for optics, right? Because sometimes the way people perceive a story is much more important than the depth of the context, right? People will say, R. Kelly's music came off. Kung Fu Kenny or Kendrick Lamar decided to also protest and say, unless his music stays on, mine stays on. And that's the connection that people will make. I would have much preferred if he had a press release or did an interview vocalizing those specific racialized concerns. But I don't really give much credence to people saying, well, what about the white predators? Because it's like, are you looking for justice or whiteness? Do you want the same treatment as white predators, or do you want no predators on the platform? It's getting a little, nebulous here. I don't know. Friend, what is a hotep? I can't minimize YouTube to Google. So obviously I'm going to use like my own definition, and the way that I understand a hotep is someone who posits themselves to be pro-Black, but their ethics are usually very misogynistic, very homophobic. It's usually those people who say that, Black women are the salt of the earth and Black men are gods, right? It's very Dr. Umar, but it's ignorant to the, centuries and thousands of year-long history of queerness in Africa. It's ignorant to the full matriarchs that existed in Africa and how women-led societies are equally as a part of African history as patriarchies, right? It's ignorant. It's selective in its knowledge, although the information that I believe a lot of hoteps feel that they feel that their information is vast. I'm giving you a long-ass definition. Basically, just think pro-Black conservatives. Thank you. Right. Think that. Think Dr. Umar. Think, honestly, and it's not exclusive to Black men. A lot of Black women are hoteps. It's most disappointing when Black women and queer folk are hoteps, because it's like, sister, girl. You know what I mean? What benefit do you get from supporting men who say that you should be barefoot and pregnant? And if the baby you're pregnant with happens to be a queer one, we're going to beat the shit out of them. And I need you to support that. Because he got to be a man. She got to be a woman. Divine femininity, divine masculinity, sister, mother fertile, ever fertile mother goddess. You understand? Think conspiracy theories and essential oils. Essential oils. Yeah, think tea tree will solve all of your problems. Just rub tea tree on your breast. It cures cancer. Rub it on your brain. It unlocks whatever chakras are up there. Put it up your ass. Well, I wouldn't suggest you actually do that. All right, so we do have another... we have two more super chats, so I do want to address that crowd. Hold on. My Black Nubia queen. Girl, anybody who meets you and says Grand Rising, beware. Beware of the girls who meet you and lead with Grand Rising. I get a little nervous. Suspicious Kendrick defended MJ the same way Drake tried to defend himself in Mortal Man. you know, these folks' character is always right in front of us. And it's always so sad to witness. So sad. Jasmine Smith. Oh, first of all, oh my God, I should be thanking you guys for thank you, Jasmine Smith. I forgot the name of the person who just gave the previous what is this called? Super chat. Thank you. Love you down. Okay. I'm gonna scroll back up. Off topic, but can you say the biggest boss? Oh. Yes, I absolutely can. The biggest boss. White boy. You wanted to play with the niggas. You wanted to come down to the park and play with the niggas. Yes, I love Rick Ross. He needs to go into comedy. Okay, Deja says, thank you, Deja, for the $5. She says, I prefer Kendrick every day, but I couldn't forget. The comments are coming in so fast. Oh my God. I prefer Kendrick every day, but I couldn't forget him having Kodak on his Mr. Morale album. What's the reason? What's the reason is he's a pro-black man ethic. He doesn't care that Kodak Black said that dark-skinned women are ugly, despite that he's a dark-skinned man. Allegedly, I'm paraphrasing. He doesn't care about those things. Rose. He doesn't care. Big nose. Stop it, because I gotta do it when I see it. Yeah, he doesn't care. He does not care. And it's evident, and it's so unfortunate because you always kind of have to have my relationship to most celebrities, with the exception of this lady right here, is cynical. And even with her, I do in private space. In private space. You know, I am very cynical about her as well, because we don't know these folks. They present, and even when they do present a lot of who they are and what their politics are, it's like, well, that's all wrong. well, that's all wrong, you know? Now, let's break down this feud. I want to kind of revisit it. Donald T. Wait a minute, Donald T. Now, wait a minute. Thank you for the $5, but you're going to have to reveal that last name. You're going to have to reveal that last name. And where were you on January 6th? Donald T. Where the fuck were you on January 6th? Now, let me address your question. I no longer leave wine where my monitor is. I've learned from the girls who have been here a while know that I spilled an entire glass of wine on my previous MacBook, and it took me months and months of saving to get a new one. So she always goes on a separate desk. Oh, Donald T is an attorney, so you can't be that other guy. You definitely can't be that other guy, because that other guy, well, she was able to work her way all the way up to the presidency, so who knows? She may have a JD as well. But you say attorney here. Kendrick cannot report a crime of Drake's, unfortunately, because he's not a witness. The police will do nothing with secondhand reports. Yes, attorney. Yes, attorney. Yes, attorney. No, I mean, I definitely wasn't meaning he literally walks, like, that wasn't me being literal in that he would literally walk into a precinct. I'm just saying that his voice holds a lot of weight, and what it appears to me as, I was kind of being, what's the word I'm looking for? Hyperbolic, maybe is the word I'm looking for. A bit dramatic, right? Because I don't expect him to literally walk into a precinct and give them this information, because to your point, he is not a witness to the crimes that happened, right? So at the end of the day, it would just be hearsay. But what I was saying is, for someone to sit on this information, don't tell us, waiting for the right opportunity to strike someone in the frivolous nature that is a rap battle. Well, rap battles have ended in death, so we can't say that it's fully frivolous, but you understand. Present that information to the appropriate authorities. Aggregate that information with witness testimony and empower those people to meet up with the authorities. If you really are disgusted by what this man has done and said, allegedly, then you put those people, you use your power not to make more money for yourself by putting these songs out, right, and charting, but you use your power to put these people in positions where they can get proper legal services, and they can report those crimes. They can feel safe about reporting those crimes. You extend the safety that you have as an incredibly wealthy, incredibly famous, incredibly protected person, which clearly in his hubris He makes it abundantly clear he ain't afraid of nobody. I ain't scared of nobody, baby. Which honestly, you know, that's just kind of like most black men I know or men I know will say they're not afraid of much. But that's what I meant. It wasn't to be literal, is the long and short of what I'm saying. Let me see what y'all talking about. Oh, that's police, not FBI. The FBI takes all information. True. Not calling the FBI, honey. I know that's right. Take it straight to the source, honey. Okay, Solemn Smith says, as a trans, I believe in divine femme and mask shit, but I'm also so aware that it's fluid and there's divine agender too, and that everyone carries elements. Oh, girl, I definitely get in my woo-woo bag. There's been times where I've been rubbing together two pebbles, like, is this the one that adds more money in my pocket? girl, picking up seashells by the seashore. Apparently, that's going to bring more the fluidity of wealth. Girl, pray to Oshun, pray to Jesus, pray. What can I do? I say all that to say, like, I'm not anti-divine energies. I do believe that, well, I really do believe that gender is a destructive construct that does not work for all of us. And so I really do commit to this idea. If it's not freedom for us all, then it's not freedom for anyone, right? And so I mean that even within gender, the freedom to express your gender. And I think that folks are socialized in a specific way when it comes to gender, but also people are naturally inclined to something. And that is not always aligned with their sex or the sex they were assigned at birth, right? So I agree with the, the woo-woo divine femme and mask shit. Now, child, ain't nobody free, girl. Ain't nobody free. Okay, let's actually begin to break down this Drake and Kung Fu Kenny rap beef. Because Kendrick Lamar is operating on a different level. I'm sorry. We've said that, he's disgusting. Hold on. This is the one last thing about the FBI versus the police. Girl, because Donald T is taking us all the way. Donald T says, yes, but the FBI is picky with the cases they take on. You can't guarantee they'll touch this. They are rather unpredictable and tend to go after the most expensive crimes. Honey. Love you down. Donald T. Now that we've been able to confirm that you're not Donald Trump. Now that we've been able to confirm that the T does not stand for Trump. Love you down. But you don't believe that a case involving Drake, Aubriana Graham, allegedly being a PDF file and, abusing women is not something that's going to grab the FBI's attention? You don't think this is a case they would pick up the way that they were happy-go-lucky to go and raid, as they should have, as they absolutely should have, to go and raid Diddy's home? Sister, Aubriana would be going down. I just think that is a particularly informed and smart organization that is not going to move unless they have overwhelming evidence. But it did take decades. That is correct. This is a whole thing. Not us getting into criminology 101. Not us getting into criminology 101. Girl, move. Because that's not funny. Okay, like I was saying, Kendrick Lamar is an evil genius and a supervillain. His approach to this has been incredibly methodical. It's been so well thought out, and damn near dangerous. No, certainly dangerous, right? And Drake's response to this really artistic challenge that Kendrick Lamar has presented him with has been like, well, you rap like you try to free the slaves, nigga. Aubriana. When will you get it? Eh? When will you get it? Where is Rick Ross when you need him, white boy? It's still very clear that you're uncomfortable. I don't think Drake is actually uncomfortable navigating Black spaces, but I do think that Drake has a similar trauma that a lot of biracial people have, where they're like, of two worlds, but never fully a part of one, you know? Which I can resonate with as a Black American, but also Haitian and Jamaican Black American, but really being African Americanly cultured. It's more like of two ethnicities, but never really fully a part of one. I mean, it's Black. The race is Black every day of the week. Hello. But well, I'm not gonna do this. This I'm not gonna do. That I'm not gonna do. I just can't. The way my headaches are set up, I shall not. I shall not. Anyway, now, if you'll remember, J. Cole and Drake dropped a diss track against Kendrick Lamar. It was called First Person Shooter. How long ago has it been since First Person Shooter came out? Allegedly, and everything I say from here on out is all alleged information, unless I'm directly quoting one of these men. Everything I've said in today's video is all alleged information, unless I'm directly quoting someone. Take that. All right, now let's move on. Now that we've got the legalese out the way, and shout out to Donald Tree, not me giving you a last name. Shout out to Donald Tree for being our resident attorney. Let me know if I'm going too far, and reel me back in for him. But this allegedly all started because Drake wanted Kendrick Lamar to be on this song, and so Kendrick declined because it's like, I'm uninterested, right? And so they dissed him on that song. He then responded by hopping on a diss track with Future and Metro Boomin, which I think so many people have forgot that they were even a part of this beef to begin with. Have I seen Metro Boomin's tweets? We'll get to him if I can remember. Remind me. So he, basically goes, after Big Three, it's just Big Me, basically declining their, not offer, but a lot of people say that Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole are the Big Three of hip hop now, and have been for quite some time. And Kendrick Lamar is basically saying, I'm Jesus. I'm Jesus. How can it be the Big Three? It's just Big Me. It's just Big Me. And so that was fun, but I wasn't too invested up to that point. Then an onslaught of other men's started to get involved, and that's when it started to get juicy. But I also stopped caring. Rick Ross is funny as hell and needs to go on a comedy tour. I will purchase tickets. That wasn't a diss. It's too much. I have to stay focused because I'm running through timelines and I want to be very precise. So Aubriana initially responded not with a diss track. No. Because that will require having balls to do what you won't do. So no, he didn't initially respond with a diss track. He initially allegedly responded with a cease and desist. Yes, which was an attempt to get Like That off of the radio. This is all allegedly, and it's very nasty work if true. In my mind, Drake had on 4-inch acrylic nails typing the email to his lawyer like, get this shit off the internet. Mwah. Mwah. No radio. Mwah. Yeah, girl. Yeah. But then he eventually responds back with his diss track. What was the diss track that he responded back with? Push-ups. So he responds back with Push-ups, which was interesting the way that it came out because it was initially leaked. I feel like all this was a part of his strategy. And the issue is Drake's strategy is just not as good as Kendrick's strategy. And it never was throughout this entirety of this thing. You didn't hear about that at all? Girl T. Now, so Drake initially, in my mind, don't know if this is true, Drake leaked this himself. Girl. No shade. And in the age of AI, we really didn't know, and I think he leaked it to see how are the streets going to respond to this? Because again, in the age of AI, you never know what's what. Now, the reason why, after I think it started to buzz and people were feeling it, he then started to pull it down off of X, in my mind, off of X and all these different social media organizations, allegedly, right? So then he officially drops Push-Ups. Then he drops Tailor Made right after, basically trying to egg Kendrick on to drop his diss track. Respond. You can't touch me. Very that energy. Basically saying that he can't drop anything right now because Taylor Swift just dropped her album, and so you know better. So you gotta do better. Whole time, Miss Mamas didn't know that Kendrick Lamar was curating a mixtape. He was developing an EP. Gathering information up. so that when he fries your ass, he wants you crisp as a pulp. Well, no, that's not the expression. Not crisp as a pulp. He wants you burnt. He wants you burnt, honey, charcoaled when he fries your ass. Okay. Oh, hi, Kevin. What did you miss? Sister, it's a lot that you've missed. First, you missed that I'm giving groove tonight. Poo, 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 poo. It's the special rhyme. You missed. We're now basically doing a run through of how we got here. Prior to that, I was basically discussing how both of them are disgusting in that they're anti-misogynoir or misogynistic perspectives that they were espousing in their songs weren't rooted on shit. They weren't standing on business, right? They never have. Particularly Aubriana, but Kendrick, we're not letting you off the hook, Miss Mamas, because we've been digging into your past as well. Which brings us here. We're now talking about how Drake dropped Push-Ups and Taylor Made, trying to egg Kendrick on, but Kendrick had his own strategy. Now I grow crisp like bacon. That's the expression I was looking for. Now, Kendrick then follows up with what can only be described as studied, multifarious, such a good diss track, Euphoria. But here's the thing. Of course, Drake is the executive producer of Euphoria, and on Euphoria, it kind of acts as like a foreshadow to what he's going to drag for, which is being a PDF file. And on Euphoria, there's a lot of teen, adult activity, in a way where people have critiqued it for being it overindulging in that, right? It almost feels like it is taking advantage of what they are trying to portray as young people's bodies engaging in sexual activity in a way that feels exploitative. And so naming it that also ties into the layered nature of this particular diss track. But a lot of the critique that the girls were giving on Twitter is like, there's nothing really new here. Right. There's a lot of repeated stories and ideas about Drake that so many people have always said about him. And it's really because Drake is incredibly famous, right? Drake's business lives in public discourse far more than Kendrick's business does, right? And that's because Drake is just obviously the more famous artist, but also has more of a desire to be famous, it appears to me. Right. And so we're like, what's really new here? Very great wordplay, very great lyricism. But what's really new here is what I found a lot of people were saying. Kendrick Lamar then drops 616, the title alone. Very layered. So 616 is obviously Tupac's birthday, which Drake obviously dropped a diss track with Tupac being featured on it, which was very weird to me. I don't live for, invoking the dead. I don't live for stealing people's voices for your artistry. I don't live for that. That's late, girl. That's late. It's just, tired. But that's obviously Tupac's birthday. So then the title of this track is kind of speaking to Drake's obsession with Tupac for using his voice and essentially likeness on this project, but also for purchasing his most valuable item, that Tupac ring. It's also the day of Father's Day this year, which is a reference to Drake, the male who's hiding the kid for the world for the kid. And, the girls have dragged him for not being a great father. It's also the premiere date of Euphoria, which again is another precursor to him dragging Drake for being a PDF file. And how that show is kind of, exploitative, like I've already said. It's also the date of the O.J. Simpson trial. And there's a black glove as the imagery on this screen. So it's basically, obviously we know O.J. Simpson was acquitted for murdering that lady, allegedly murdering that lady. But, read my eyes. Now, I'm not going to say that he did it. He's now gone on to glory. Well, he's now gone on to glory, girl. But, anyway, layers in the title alone. And then we move to Family Matters, where for me, this conversation, this battle, the business start windmilling for real. I said, oh, the girls have clocked in. And this is where we kind of transition into the portion that the title kind of alludes to, where Drake says, and I will pull this up. I think I have this already on here. Oh, we're going to get to her. But Drake says on Family Matters, is this the Family Matters one? Is this the Family Matters clip? Yes. So in Family Matters, Drake accuses him of many things. So we'll read it and then we'll talk more. He goes, always rapping like you about to get the slaves freed. You just acting like an activist. It's make believe. I just don't see how that is. I could see how if Drake was the political superior, or if Drake stood on some sort of moral high ground, political high ground, ethical high ground, how that would be a nasty read. But it's just the pot calling the kettle black. I just don't know. It doesn't land the same, considering Drake is allegedly all of these things that I alluded to just a couple minutes ago. He then goes, you the black messiah wifing up a mixed queen. Okay. And hit vanilla cream to help you out with your self-esteem. On some Bobby shit, I want to know what Whitney need. All that puppy love was over in your late tweens. Late teens, girl. They were older than 12, buddy. Why you never hold your son and tell him say cheese? We could have left the kids out of this. Don't blame me. You a dog and you know it. You just play sweet. And your baby mama captions always screaming, save me. You did her dirty all your life. Now you're trying to make peace. I heard one of them little kids might be day free. Don't make, excuse me, my mouth. Don't make it day freeze. Okay, so basically saying that that's not his kid, and that his wife is unhappy. And here's the reason why he says that his wife is unhappy. When you put your hands on your girl, is it self-defense because she's bigger than you? Your back is up against the curb. You digging for dirt. You should be digging for proof. Basically saying all the allegations you're throwing at me, you need to have proof for them. And why did you really move to New York? Is it because you want to live that bachelor life? Proposed in 2015, but you don't want to make her your actual wife. Now, of course, 10 years ago, people alleged that Kendrick Lamar put his hands on a woman. I forget what the media outlet was, bitch. I'm so hot. What the media outlet was that accused him of putting his hands on a woman, but that was an allegation. There was never really any proof beyond that, and we never got more information around that. So I do think it is important, if possible, to have proof, evidence, when we're talking about allegations as big as these, because these are alleged victims. And if these things are untrue, right, if they're just patently false, then the victim becomes the person who was lied on because of the impact that has on the way that they navigate life, right? Like if someone accuses you of being a PDF file, an abuser, or what have you, those things move with you throughout life. And I'm not even just talking about from a fiscal or financial perspective. I'm talking about just in the way that people in society engage with you. Do you get what I'm saying? But what really bothers me here as well, is Drake never cared. Drake never actually gave a fuck. Do you get what I'm saying? This, and the reason why I say that he never cared is because this is the same man who was pro Tory Lanez after Tory Lanez shot Megan in the foot. This is the same man who probably, allegedly, has JPay downloaded on his phone and scheduling conjugal visits or something. Download JPay. See, y'all niggas got so much to say. Schedule a conjugal visit or something. Dick rotten ass nigga. You never gave a literal fuck about women being abused. This is just something you said for the sake of saying it. Or for the sake of having a gotcha moment, right? Not for the sake of saying it. Right, girl. The people say he probably got Tory books loaded. Girl down. But yeah, okay, so then Kendrick, 15 minutes after, nobody really even is talking so much about Drake's Family Matters, because 15 minutes later, Kendrick Lamar slides back with Meet the Grams. Okay, now what does he say in Meet the Grams? He's alleging that Drake has an 11-year-old daughter, which I don't believe to be true. I believe that Drake actually did plant that story so that Tory could believe that. I should put ice in this drink. That would have really helped the bitch out. Mm-mm-mm. Note to self for the future. But he also says, this is what Kendrick Lamar says. He hates black women, hypersexualizes them with kinks of a nympho fetish. He grew facial hair because he understood being a beard just fit him better. He got ex-offenders on Hovio. Sorry. Hovio is funny to me. I'm sorry. On Hovio that he keep on a monthly allowance. A child should never be compromised, and he keeping his child around them. Oh, I actually have this. I have this. Hold on, let me get it pulled up. Boom. I like visual aids. I don't know if you're like me, but I like visual aids. A child should never be compromised, and he keeping his child around them. Why is this so small on my screen now? Anyway, we got to raise our daughters knowing there's predators like him lurking. F a rap battle. He should die so that these women can live a life of purpose. You know, this is where I can't believe that you really care this much, because like I said earlier, you could have presented this information to the proper authorities. If you feel that there are young girls, the most vulnerable among us, being manipulated, touched, groomed, and you've received this information from someone, because clearly, girl, you've got the goods. If you are able to get what looks to be allegedly Drake's prescription, you get his pills. Girl, oh, Sabek. We know you didn't do that alone. Oh, Zambic, we know you didn't do that alone. Girl, we know. Anyway, if you have access to this kind of stuff, then you have access to the people who would provide you with that information. And I just don't see the real care in this. And I just don't have respect. I don't have respect for the way that he chose to disseminate this information. This very, if true, all of this is alleged, but if true, it's incredibly, irresponsible to disseminate this information in this way, girl. Now, do we believe that Drake is on Sabek? Y'all sing. You did all this alone. Oh, Sabek. We know. You did all this alone. We do. We do believe that Drakeana or Brianna Graham is absolutely on something aiding in the creation of her body, giving what her body is giving. We believe that. At least I believe it, honey. Don't know what to be true, but I believe it. But I don't know. I also don't see when people are like, oh, how can Kendrick Lamar say that Drake doesn't like black women when he's married to or engaged to whatever, a mixed queen? This is why I get scared to date outside of my race. Y'all make it seem like it's a liability. Like, people genuinely believe you can't be pro-black with a non-black partner, as if ending up with a non-black partner means that you've never dated within your race, that you haven't loved within your race, or that the majority of your partners haven't been intraracial. And what we do know, or haven't been interracial relationships, and what we do know not inter, which means within the same group, right? What we do know is statistically, most black people date other black people, right? Most black people, the vast majority of black people, marry other black people. But when people see black people dating outside of their race, they're like, oh my God, stop the fucking, what is happening here? And I'm like, Keisha just found her a nice little man named Steve. Girl, Steve is paying the bills. Girl, he's feeding her pasta and lobster. It doesn't change the fact that Keisha majored in Africana Studies. Girl has a master's and PhD in Africana Studies. She's still pro-black, girl. She works for the NAACP. What is happening? The girls be like, you're sucking white cock? You eating that white cooch? You eating that Hispanic cooch? I don't know. I mean, to each their own. Here we go. Here we hold on. So Bree Banks, I love Bree Banks. That's like a Facebook name, like from like my era. Banks was so tea in like 20. What was I on Facebook for real? Like 2011, 2013. I'm trying to think. Yeah, probably around like 2011 to 2013. Banks. Oh, the girls loved In the Name of Banks. I am over living right now. But you say, sorry, you can't be pro-black with a non-black partner. I just like to know what the definition of pro-black is, and why. So are you familiar with the Black marriage crisis? Or what people have called the Black, I'm not going to bring that up because that's too nuanced and it's so off the topic. For now, I'll say, I respect you, Bree Banks. Love you too. I respect you, Bree Banks. I don't agree, but we can agree to disagree. We have another thing here. Wow. So hold on. It's just scrolled up. It says, so is it, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Breeze Artis? Okay, this person says mixed race is not black. Just because you're not white doesn't mean you're black. Well, no, absolutely. But there's definitely people who are mixed with black. And who we've had this conversation on my video. What did the video that I do? What was the video I did where the wine spilled all over my shit? And I was basically saying, girl, not everybody black. Not all Afro Latinos are black, but the girls were trying to eat me up. They're like, it's Afro, I'm Latina. It's literally in the name. I'm like, yeah, girl. So there are folks who are Afro descendant, and you recognize them to not be black, right? Like in my view, I always use this person, but Sophia Richie with the blonde hair, blue eyes, straight blonde hair, blue eyes, pale tannish skin, white woman. But she's also Afro descendant. Her dad, I believe Lionel Richie is either all black with two light-skinned parents, or there's something mixed up in there. But Sophia Richie couldn't really call herself a black woman in my face. Y'all can look her up. I'm not gonna pour a picture up. Couldn't call herself a black woman in my face, but she's Afro descendant. So there are certainly mixed race folk who are perceived as black. For example, Lala. Lala's mixed race, I believe. She's certainly Afro-Latina, but I believe she's mixed race. Am I remembering this? I need to actually, when we have these conversations, I need to come prepared because I don't agree with this statement. Well, I agree that just because you're not white does not mean you're black, right? Because you could be a myriad of things. You could be Pacific Islander and Indian. You could be, a myriad of things. So I agree with that. But where I disagree is that there are not mixed folk who are also black. Halle Berry is a great example. Absolutely, yes. That's a black woman. Did somebody say so? Yes. Her parents are right. Okay, so Lala Anthony is mixed race. Both her parents are right. And I've never heard nobody say Lala not black. I've never heard nobody say Alicia Keys, girl, Tracy Ellis Ross, obviously Aubrey Graham, Barack Obama, a lot of people. And I don't hear people saying that that's the first half nigga president. I don't. I hear people saying that that's the first black president. Anyway, hold on. Donald Trump asks, I'm sorry, Donald T, I can't help it. Donald T asks, Herbie, do you think the mixed person can define for themselves if they are black or not? I think yes. So here's how I feel about that. This is not exactly akin, but I'm just going to use this as an analogy. I think that, so I am gender nonconformant, right? I'm gender non-binary, and so that's how I define myself. I also recognize that people will always see me, despite me giving you all this pussy on a platter. despite me tonight giving you platypus. Platypus, Eddie. The people will always see me as a black man. And that doesn't ever make me go like, oh my God, like people, it doesn't take me away from my personal identification, but I understand that societally I'm always going to be read as a man, not non-binary. And so when there are folks who are identifiably Black, like Barack Obama could have told me, if I never saw his white mama, he could have told me that he was light-skinned Black and with like just 2 light-skinned Black parents, and I would have been like, okay, yeah, I believe you, right? You don't have to convince me that you're Black. You looked Black when you walked in, and you look Black when you leave. Especially having that dark-skinned Black wife and the Black-ass kids, right? So he will always be perceived as Black. Now, if Barack Obama, in the privacy of his own corridors, identified as a biracial man, and that's the way he wanted to, he told people, engage me this way, that'd be fine as well, because that would be true, and he can define that for himself. But society is always going to decide for you, and that's why I say race is largely about phenotype and how you are perceived. You can know that you have a Black grandma who's 2 shades blacker than me, and you want me to know that too. So you pull out the picture. You can know that, right? But unless people, in my view, this is my opinion, unless when people engage with you, they understand you to be Black, it gets a little sticky for me. Someone asked a good question. We could have another conversation about the various Black communities and different ways of being Black. Absolutely. Because even what is Black culture is way too convoluted. Because what is my culture as a first generation Haitian Jamaican American? What is your, and also African American? The girls always said, there's been a couple times where people are like, you're not African American. I'm like, girl, please tell that to everybody in my life. Tell that to people who meet me and like, girl, please. But the African American experience is not the same as, a friend of mine who's Nigerian American, and my cousins who have 2 Haitian parents. And so they fully are deeply enriched in the Haitian culture, right? We're all Black, but our individual cultures are very different, right? And then what is the Black bourgeoisie culture and experience, especially if you come from a history of, parents who have been middle class or upper middle class Black parents? What is that versus the Black low class culture and experience, right? Because I have a friend of mine from high school, because you guys know I went to an affluent high school, Jessica, her father was in the NFL, right? So she's not certain things that I could be like, oh, that's Black culture when I'm talking to my cousins who grew up in the projects, right? Based on the foods that we eat. And like mayo sandwiches, or turning rice into cereal, or like oatmeal, because, we don't got the money to buy all of these different things. So buy rice and that'll be dinner, breakfast, and lunch. She wouldn't know that. And that's an experience. And also that's not everybody's Black. That's a poverty experience, which sometimes what we're really identifying as racialized culture is class, is ethnicity, is it's socioeconomic, it's so many other things working to inform what we're talking about here. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know, girl. This gets to be too much. Girl, right. And that's where we'll leave it. That is a whole nother freaking video. Now, I was supposed to, I still am. It's only 7:40. Hold on. I gotta engage my girl. Excuse me. So Baneful Beauty, thank you so much for the $10. Love you down. I wanted you to see the heart. So you go on to say, unpopular opinion, we focus too much on race and not cultural upbringing. I'm starting to believe more in racelessness. One could be white, but have a Black upbringing. Now, hold on, girl, because they throwing tomatoes. Ah! Girl, they throwing tomatoes. Oh, my fucking God. What the fuck? Oh, my God. Girl, they throwing tomatoes, girl. Now, Baneful Beauty. Hold on. Let me I have one, just a simple thought. Baneful Beauty. Baneful Beauty. Baneful Beauty. Baneful Beauty. That's not. Oh, that's not. That's. No, 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 no. No, no, no. You don't mean that. You just happened to say that. You didn't mean that seriously. Listen, Baneful Beauty. Listen, Baneful Beauty. I, you know, yes, 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 yes. Let's absolutely lead with compassion. I mean, I feel like I always try to lead with compassion. Here's what I'll say to that. No, I don't think that someone can be white and grow up with a Black experience or a Black upbringing. I do think that racelessness and the conversation and all of its nuance is important, right? Reconstruction, elimination of race. I think that there are folks who like white folks who grew up, like, for example, I went to school and I remember like having very few when I was in K through 8 in the hood that I grew up in, with a couple of white kids here and there. Their slang was very much the slang that we used in the classrooms, right? When we all went to the store to call the person who was making the chopped cheese Poppy, so did they, right? The way that we discussed folks that we were interested in, our colloquialisms were also their colloquialisms. So that environmentally meant that they spoke like us, talked like us, but they did not have the same upbringing that we did. They didn't have the same fears walking through the cop-ridden streets that we had. They didn't have the same engagement with the police state, with teachers, did not engage them the same, right? There are studies that talk about how teachers are more likely to suspend darker skinned students, darker skinned Black girls, right? And the preschool to prison pipeline that's being built and curated around Black students in the inner city, right? So a lot of what we identify as the Black experience is a lot of urban experience. I will give you that. And that does have a lot to do with culture. But their lived upbringing is vastly different because theirs is colored with the veneer of whiteness. And ours is colored with the veneer of Blackness. So the way that society engages us and we engage, and subsequently the way we engage back, is vastly different. Now, they may talk like us, like the same BBCs we like, and also, girl, want a ghetto hookup from the Poppy at the bodega, right? She may also want that thing. But she didn't have a Black experience. It seems that YouTube agrees with me. Right, they wouldn't be perceived the same way. Now, also, Eminem, no one in the world would call that man Black. Correct. Well, well, beautiful Black Christians, girl, get your mind out the gutter. Get your mind out the gutter, sister. Black is a race, many cultures, an identity, and a politic. Let's do our good reading respectfully. Yeah, Blackness is way too nuanced to ascribe to anyone who's not Black. Sorry. I'm a gatekeeper. So I just thanks, sis. In my gate, I think that my reigns are like, I'm not going to say that someone who is identifiably Black but has a non-Black parent is not Black to me. That's not where my gate ends. Right. But I'm never going to say that a Caucasian woman had the same experience as my sister just because she grew up the street. No, because I grew up, went to college, and now me and this same white girl or white man or white person have the same level of education. There's studies that show that white men who have been incarcerated are more likely to get a job than college educated Black men. Did they ask if that white man grew up in Newark, Chicago, Flint, Michigan? No, they don't care, right? Because at the end of the day, Steve is still Caucasian. And at the end of the day, BBC Lust doesn't get you to the cookout. I don't even care if you now TikTok got you bitches learning all about onion powder, garlic powder, smoked paprika, salt and pepper. And you think just because your chicken is orange and now got some complexion, that means something new to me. I want to smell adobo, sazon, Lori's seasoning star, celery star, oxtail seasoning. I want you shopping in the internet. Actually, do whatever comes natural to you. Do whatever comes natural to you. Okay. Let's see. Donald T says, I think the upbringing and Black experience convo gets interesting when comparing American Black and African from Africa. So like continental Africans who live in America or who are navigating life in Africa. We'll discuss both. Both Black, but one has a minority experience. Yeah. I listened to, you guys remember the name of the Nigerian poet who was on Beyonce's Flawless record? What's her name? Because she talked about the experience of being Black in America versus her experience of being Black in Africa, Nigeria to be specific. And here's the thing. Folks are certainly still divided. There's still minorities, obviously, in parts of Africa. Maybe not racial minorities, but, socioeconomic minorities, tribal minorities. And I'm not the most well-versed on this because it's just not a field of study of mine. Like, the nuances of the African continent. Yes, Miss Adichie. Now, I'm not gonna. Is it Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie? Did I pronounce that correctly? If I butchered it, slay me, drag me. But okay. Yes, I'm gonna go with Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. Girl, her book, I think that book is in my car. I have to, but yeah. Oh, wow. So yes, you lived in South Sudan. Yes, Donald. But anyway, yeah, there is a difference, I think, in the histories of different parts of Africa. We have to talk because Africa is, a continent, which, as you know, you lived in South Sudan. But I think constantly when we have conversations about different diasporic experiences, we are doing so in a context that makes it feel like Africa is a country. So it just kind of, I wanted to make that distinction. So in different parts of Africa, different countries in Africa have different experiences. But so I won't say that the history all across Africa is the same. But well, no, it isn't the same, right? Even my ancestors, which are largely from, enslaved Caribbean folk, it's not the same as the experience of folks who experience American antebellum slavery, and the relationship of Black folk to white folk and Black folk to everyone else here, and how the vestiges of those things still live here. So I just don't see a world in which it makes sense not to gatekeep, especially as the world becomes more globalized. Sorry, y'all, that white stuff all comes around now when I talk too long. I don't see a world in which it makes sense not to gatekeep Blackness, because as the world becomes more globalized, everybody feels like they can just participate in certain conversations, and it feels like erasure. It feels like desensitization. I was supposed to be on here for like 30 minutes. Like, I can't stand it. Let's see. For me, this beef exposed how many white people are wanting hip-hop culture without Black culture. That includes our Black concerns and politics. I think Black spectacle is always entertaining. I think that the way that Black folks curate entertainment, in my view, is unlike any other body of people on this planet, right? That's why we've been responsible for creating all of the major genres in American music. We've been responsible for continually innovating new dance moves, new ways to move the body, to feel free, to feel liberated. And obviously, we are brilliant beyond our capacity to entertain, right? But I think that there's something particular about the way that Black people do spectacle. It's unlike anything that anybody else can do in my view, right? I'm just enamored by it, and so many other people are, and that's not exclusive to just white people. Black people are enamored by what other Black people can do. What did Beyonce say? The things these young people can do with their bodies, it's not right. It's just so much damn swag. Why am I talking like that? But yeah, so I think that, And that doesn't give people an excuse to engage with us as a source of spectacle and not full human beings, because there is in essence a dehumanization that comes with that. But it's one to say, I get it. If I was you, I'd want to do me too. But it's also to say, in addition to that, I always love art that compels people to engage with the full humanity of what is one slice of the Black experience, right? I loved what I put up earlier. Oh wait, hold on. How did you do that voice? I'm gonna tell you something. I didn't finish that first thought, and I'm gonna be mad if I can't circle back to it. But my voice is truly one of my favorite gifts. Like the amount of things that I can do with my voice, like just the amount of things that I can do with my voice is probably my secret talent. And yeah, I don't know why I wanted to go off on that tangent, but it's just really, really fun. Just how is that your Wookie? It might be. Thank you, and I thank you, and I thank you. So yes, what was I saying before about like Blackness and stuff? About them niggas. What was I saying? What the fuck was I saying? I was saying something, you all. Don't get me to forgetting stuff now. Please. I can be a voiceover person. I have to look into that. Now, I was saying something. Oh, this is why I appreciate art that compels all the listeners, not just Black people, not just white people, not just Black, straight, white, queer, all of these, Asian, non-binary, that compels everybody to engage with our art and exposes a new layer to Blackness, right? Because that is a part of what I see as the Reconstruction project of America. If we want to attain a society of racelessness, you know what I'm trying to say, then I think it's super important that, we do have, the girls who create work that's just escapist. Maybe like Megan Megan does include a politic in her work from time to time. So maybe like a Sukihana, where it's like, it's just fun. But then we have people like, obviously, Beyonce, who's creating really smart art. I even think Jasmine Sullivan is creating really, like, Hotels, so smart. Janelle Monáe, who creates incredibly smart work. Folks who just do things that push the culture forward. Now, you say, I'm happy that Julian Steve says, I'm happy that Kendrick Lamar is seeing a boost in streams and sales, though. So keep supporting non-Black people. Wait a minute. So, you're telling non-Black people, because I'm like, when did Kendrick become non-Black? But that's a message to non-Black people. Everybody support everybody's shit, as long as the person is not shit, And Kendrick Lamar is talented. Yeah. There's something else that I wanted to talk to you guys about really quickly before I get out of here. Or should I just get out of here? I think it's time for me to go. Because I have to do the Patreon girlies. We have to talk about the Met Gala or the Mess Gala. We have to react to Coco Jones' new music. I'm just so excited for what Miss Mamas is doing. So if you're watching this in the future, I'll put the Patreon description or link in the description. Also, I have my next video that I'm publishing is going to be a sponsored video. Please pull up on this sponsored video. If you're watching this, I believe the video, what am I going to call the video? I believe it's called Gen Z, why Gen Z cares more. No, Gen Z cares more about pop culture than politics. A myth debunked. That'll either be out next week or whatever. It's coming out pretty soon. It's going to be my first ever sponsored post, and I really want it to do well. So pull up on me, run to the comments, click the link, do the things. When y'all see it, make sure your notifications are on. No, Jaden, not you coming an hour and 20 minutes late. Talking about what did I miss? What about the diss? Damn, what about the diss? You mean what we just discussed for the past hour and a half? Sister friend, I ain't doing this with you right now. I'm not doing this with you right now. So I love you guys too bad. Let me see. What do I see here? Thank you, Herbie. Love you down. Hope we get to continue our discussion on the complexities of race. Girl, of course. Of course. Of course. Of course. That's like what we do here. We talk race, sexuality, and bullshit. Girl, and all things gag-worthy, darling. All things gag-worthy. All right. Is there anything else I wanted to respond to before I get out of here? The pin of shame. Oh no. I would never leave it pinned. That'd be ridiculous. Your videos are going to do well. Thank you. Thank you. But you know, in the eyes of a sponsor, girl, numbers. The girls what numbers? All right, I gotta go. Nelson says, I love your content, Herbie. You don't have to at me. If you at me, it doesn't make me see it faster. I don't get a notification. Just so y'all know for the future. I don't get a notification if you add me. I kind of just pick them at random. Or if it's a super chat, definitely do super chats because, like I said, these videos are not monetized. I love your content, Herbie. I would love to see you discuss your African American heritage more. I don't recall you mentioning it until relatively recently. Yeah. Don't I? I mean, so here's my breakdown. My dad is from Haiti, born and raised in Haiti, and then moved here to America where he met my mother. My mother was born in America. My mother's mother is Jamaican, born in Jamaica. And that's that, my whole side of the family. My mother's father is, so both my dads, everybody in my dad's side is all Haitian. It's just Haitian. My mother's father is African American and Puerto Rican. So really, I just say I'm Caribbean American, black. Well, first I say I'm black like that. And then if people ask me my ethnicity, I'll say Caribbean American. But the way I present, the culture I'm most socialized into, my dad never taught us how to speak Creole. He spoke Creole around the house, so I picked up some things. My mother is very African American coded because she was born and raised here. And so I just feel like my culture that I present is very, I'm sweaty, is very African American. So the topics we talk about here are always African American topics, and I don't know. Oh my God. Somebody just said something crazy. Wait. Hold on. Hey, hey. I love meeting fellow Haitians, meeting fellow anybody who's connected to me. Maybe we just talk about it more on Patreon. Yeah, maybe we do talk about it a lot on Patreon. Join the Patreon. Join the Patreon, y'all. Yes, I do. I do still have family living in Haiti, and in France, and a lot of different places, but particularly Haiti. So I appreciate the prayers. Thank you so much. All right, I love you guys too bad. But before I let you go, I will never ever leave you without saying this. I am in a constant state of practice, and so are you. You can never fail when you're in a constant state of practice. My whole world. And Patreon members, let me just eat. I have not eaten all day. Oh, that's a lie. I had lunch, but it's 8:00. So let me just eat, and then I'll send a link to the Patreon, and I'll hop on over and we'll talk about the Met Gala, Coco Jones, and some other stuff. I'll see y'all over there soon. Mwah. I gotta go, guys.